Hi F5, as you can see Tiger's come to join for story time, so we're just going to finish off the last little bit. I'm hoping he's just going to sit there and be quiet, but he enjoys stories too. So we were just up to the part where Claire is making a plan. She wants to get back at Dad and she wants to do something to AIE. And hopefully you've all written some predictions or come up with some ideas about what could happen next. So now we're on chapter 8, which is called Alone. To Claire at claremail.private.uk from Maisie at maisiemail.private.uk. Dear Claire, please stop and think before you do anything you'll regret. You're worrying me. What are you going to do? Whatever it is, maybe I can help you. After all, that's what friends are for. I hope I live close enough to you to be of some help. Let me know what you have in mind. Your friend, Maisie. I smiled when I read Maisie's message and sent a reply straight away. To Maisie at maisiemail.private.uk from Claire at claremail.private.uk. Dear Maisie, thanks for your last message, but I think I can do this alone. Don't worry. I'm going to teach Dad a lesson. Tonight, when Mum's asleep, I'm going to go to his lab and I'm going to sort out the AIE. I know Dad will be at the lab, but he won't be in his office all the time. I'm going to get rid of the AIE. It's not made of the same stuff as us, so it shouldn't be too difficult. I don't know how Dad can say it's more advanced than us when it's made of something so so soft and squidgy. Its processor might be amazing, but what good is that when the shell is so soft? I'm going to see just how soft it is tonight. Wish me luck, your friend Claire. I went offline after that. I didn't want Maisie to try and talk me out of it. I had to do this. It was the AIE or me. Chapter 9 is called Choice. I looked at my watch as I stood outside Dad's lab. 11:30 p.m. I couldn't turn back now, even if I wanted to, which I didn't. Mum had shut down for the night, but if I went back home now, she'd instantly wake up. I didn't want that to happen. Not if I didn't have anything to show for it. I walked around the back of the building and used Dad's spare key card to let myself in. The building was quiet and dark. I knew the 2 security guards would be at the front watching TV. I also knew that between 11 p.m. and midnight, Dad always went to the restroom in the basement to recharge his power cell. So I had half an hour or 20 minutes if I wanted to be on the safe side. I ran up 5 flights of stairs rather than take the lift and swiped myself into Dad's lab. I forced myself not to think about the months and years Dad had spent working on AIE. It came down to a simple choice: Dad's project or Dad's family. It was so bright, every light in the place must have been on, but it was also so quiet that it was creepy. I looked around. The place was empty. 15 minutes left. I didn't want to get this wrong. And there's just a picture. You can see what Dad's lab is like. I'm imagining that this must be Claire going in. I crept across the floor to the lab next door. That had to be where Dad kept the AIE. She'd come out of the lab when Mum and I had first seen her. I opened the lab door and gasped. The last time I'd seen this lab, it had been full of workbenches covered in tools and wires and gadgets. Now it was like someone's bedroom. There was a simple bed against the wall, and opposite that was a desk with a screen above it. The screen was on, and it was connected to the net. Hello, Claire. My head whipped round. The AIE was standing there watching me. It smiled, and its whole face wrinkled up. I couldn't help it. I took a step back. I've been waiting for you, the AIE said. What are you talking about? My eyes narrowed. It was clear the thing was trying to creep me out. You couldn't have known I was coming, I said. You told me, AIE smiled and pointed to the screen above the desk. Look for yourself if you don't believe me. I kept a wary eye on the AIE as I walked over to the screen. I was astonished to see the last message I'd sent to Maisie there on the screen. What? How did you get that message? I demanded. I sent that to my friend, not you. How dare you? You sent it to me, the AIE said. Yeah, right, I yelled. Since when is your name Maisie? And how did... I trailed off and stared at the AIE. Mark's Artificial Intelligence Sample Incarnation Experiment, or Maisie, for short, the AIE said. I don't believe it, I gabbled. I told you not to do anything before you stopped to think. The AIE started walking towards me. I stumbled backwards. What are you going to do? I asked. Talk to you, reason with you, the AIE said. I didn't take my eyes off the thing. I didn't realise I was backing away until I backed into the wall opposite the door and jarred my body. AIE stood in front of me, so close I could hear the strange sound of her breath. Touch me, the AIE ordered. Go on, touch my hand. I tried to put my hands behind my back, but the AIE pulled them out and held my hands in her own. I know my skin isn't made of metal like yours, but does that really make me so dreadful? AIE asked. I wish I did have a metal skin instead of this soft stuff, but that's how Father made me. That's a bit weird. So she's asking, why isn't her skin made of metal like Claire's? Father, I repeated. Your dad is my dad, the AIE said. He made me. I'm a life form based on carbon. I have something called blood running through me because the organs inside my body need oxygen to survive. The blood takes oxygen around my body and helps my body to repair itself. I work a different way from you, but I still feel and think just as you do. I stopped trying to pull my hand away from hers. Her skin felt so strange, warm and springy. I looked down at my own hand. Dull, grey, metal gleamed back at me. I'm just going to show you the picture. The light's not very clear here. Maybe if I move it back, there you can see a bit better there. So this is Claire. This is Maisie. Father calls me the next stage in technology. He calls me the future, AIE said. I can think and analyse just like you can, but I can also dream, something you have never been able to do. I can adapt my own programming and I have my own ideas. They come out of something Father calls my imagination. And I suppose you think all this makes you better than normal people, I scowled. Better than androids like me? Not better, just different, the AIE said. So Claire is an android. Claire is a robot. Maisie doesn't seem to be, though. She's got something called blood running through her body. Why didn't you tell me who you were when we talked online, I asked. Why did you lie? I didn't lie, the AIE said. Your father calls me AIE. I made up the name Maisie myself, and I do think of us as sisters. After all, Father gave me your memories, so I was you. Then I began to think for myself, and my thoughts and feelings became my own. But up until then, my memories are your memories. I watched Maisie. She watched me. Your DNA? Where did it come from? I asked. I spent the last few weeks finding that out, Maisie said. I hacked into the government systems and found some top-secret files. It seems that there were millions of life forms like me on Earth many thousands of years ago. We invented androids, and then a virus killed us all off, and you androids were all that were left. I guess you had to fend for yourselves, and so your thinking developed. But you didn't want to remember what you were, so the information was kept secret. You made us? I couldn't believe it. I have no reason to lie about it, Maisie said, her voice sad. Now you see why I envy you. You have a mother and a father and friends who are like you. I call Mark father, but he never was my father, and we both know it. Claire, everywhere you look, there are thousands like you. But look at me. I'm thousands of years too late. I'm all alone. And for the first time I began to wonder what it must be like to be Maisie. Are you still going to destroy me? Maisie asked. If you want to, I'll let you. You're the first one who's treated me like a real person rather than an experiment. But now that you know what I really am, I was going to lock you in and burn this place down, I said. You weren't a person to me. You were just a thing. I thought if Dad didn't have you anymore, then maybe he'd come back to Mum and me. And now? Maisie asked. That was the question. What was I going to do now? And then we've got chapter 11. That's called The Fire. So we wonder if she really did burn the place down. It was all over the news, stories about the tragic loss of the lab and all the research data. The world was filled with a pity for Mark Drayton, android 45902-X45-TAG4039, my father. The loss of the research materials was bad, but the loss of AIE was worse. Dad and his co-workers trying to find bits of her in the hope they could say something. But the AIE was an organic life form, not a metal unit, and so there was no trace of her left. That's what they all thought. And since Dad had lost his research data, he was back to square one. And there's a picture of the fire. I think the fire destroyed something in Dad as well. After that, all his love for his work faded. He'd been knocked back too far to start again. I don't think he could face more years of research, more jigsaws of ancient DNA before he'd have anything like AIE again. I didn't mean for Dad to stop working. I didn't want him to come back to Mum and me that way. Maisie and I just wanted to look as if Maisie had been destroyed in the blaze. At first, I was very upset about Dad, but I find that the sadness I feel grows smaller every day. This time next year, I don't expect to feel anything at all. Mum and Dad were right. My feelings are disappearing. I'm growing up at last. Chapter 12 is called Dreams. Claire Drayton, Android 39028-X46-TAG4054, personal log, date 8th of February, 7504 AD. That tells us something about this story. So it's set in the future if it's in 7504 AD. And if it's 2020 now, you might be able to work out how far in the future this story was set. I only feel about two things now. One is Maisie. The other is the thought of having a child of my own. I look forward to having the chance to imprint my brain patterns on an infant unit. I'll do a better job than my dad did with me. I've got Maisie hidden where no one will find her. We saved as many of Dad's research notes as we could, and I've promised Maisie that I'll do my best to take Dad's work forward when I get older. I'll be a scientist like him and create a partner for Maisie. Maisie doesn't want to be the only one of her kind anywhere in the world. It would be great to create more humanoids like Maisie. Dad was right about how wonderful she is. Her processor is equal to mine, and then some. She calls it a brain. I enjoy listening to her talk. Some of the things she talks about make me envy her, like the patterns she sees in the clouds and her dreams. She can make up stories on the spur of the moment that have no basis in truth. It seems as natural to her as breathing. I'm beginning to understand why Dad was so obsessed with her. As for Maisie, she often asks about Dad. When I tell her how he sits at home and stares at the walls, the strangest thing happens. Her face gets very wet. She calls it crying. Maisie may be the smartest piece of tech kit in the world, but she has feelings. And from the look of it, her feelings are never going to pass. She'll never grow out of them, unlike me. And so I wonder, should I try to make the next humanoid so that it grows out of its feelings like I will? Who is better, me, who cannot love, or Maisie, who loves too much? And there's a picture. I'm just trying to get the light on it so you can see that there's Claire, and then there is Maisie. And you can almost see that Maisie's kind of crying in that picture. She's got her face scrunched up. So I hope you enjoyed your science fiction story. As a challenge, what I might ask you to do is to draw a picture of what you think Claire, the android, looks like. I hope you enjoyed that, and take care, Year 5. I'll see you soon. Bye.